All right, so I just got the Rtic 45 liter cooler and tan delivered today. But before I go through the process and do the full kind of initial thoughts on it, I wanted to do this quick video to address some of the common just complaints or things about premium coolers and something specific to Rtic. So the first thing, do I need a cooler that costs $175? The short answer to that is no, I don't need it. However, the job that I needed a cooler to do was worth $175. And the scenario is this. So my family and I, we spend a lot of time out in the field. We are either camping, we go to the lake, we go to the pool. My daughter plays soccer, my son is playing baseball, football. So there's a need for cool beverages as well as food on a constant basis. I currently have a cooler, and I find that after just a single day, the majority of the ice in the cooler is melted, and just makes for really a mess. Though the drinks tend to stay cool, when it comes to food, you end up with soggy sandwiches. And so I wanted a cooler that was able to keep the ice cold so that we wouldn't have soggy food and we can actually stay in the field longer instead of running back and forth to get ice. Because one of the arguments is that wouldn't it be easier to just go and buy more ice instead of buying an expensive cooler? And my answer to that is, yeah, it would be easier depending on what your priorities are. If your priorities were spending as much time as you can with your family, then I would say invest in a cooler. If you didn't care about that and you didn't mind taking an hour and a half round trip to go and get ice, then feel free to get more ice. But for me, I felt that it was time to actually go the premium cooler route. The other thing I want to address is Rtic cooler versus Yeti. I live in Central Texas. I live just north of Austin, so very familiar with Yeti coolers and very good quality cooler. But the reason why I chose Rtic is very simple. For the most part, they're the same cooler. They both get the job done. However, one gets the job done at half the cost. The way that I do math, that means I'm getting twice as much return for my money as I would with a cooler that costs twice as much. So all things being equal, I chose to go the cheaper route. If brands are more important to you, then and you don't mind spending the money on a Yeti cooler, then go for it. Sorry about that, little technical difficulties. The wind hit and knocked the camera down. So as I was saying, the third thing is specific to Rtic. It took me roughly 61 days to get from order to my front door. And with that, I had to delay my gratification a little bit before I can actually have the cooler. So if you're in a situation where you need the cooler right then and there, then I would probably recommend that you go a different route. Otherwise, if you can wait a little bit in order to get the cooler, then the Rtic cooler is something that's good for you. I think it'll be a good buy, especially at half the price of a Yeti. It does the job, or at least it does for me, at the 175 price point for the 45 liter. So here it is in all its glory, the Rtic 45 liter cooler in tan. The first thing I noticed is that here there seems to be, I don't know, just part of the manufacturing process or what. It's a little messed up here around the handles, and then I also noticed that on this side, a defect. I'm not sure if it will actually impact the performance of the cooler. I also noticed that there are a couple areas here where it seems to be little spurs. It's part of the molding process, but very durable feeling, very handy. I see that there's an area here for locks, which definitely might come in handy if I leave this in the back of the truck. The handles feel and look very sturdy. Obviously I just opened it, so I haven't had a chance to really try it out yet. We'll see if they hold up. When I open it up, it looks just like a Yeti cooler, but it says Rtic. Go figure. The other thing I noticed when opening it up, there's some looks like air pockets. I think it's tough to see here. Let me see if I can get it, but just right along the lip here, there are a couple holes where there seems to be little air pockets. I don't think that will materially impact the gasket here from forming a good seal, but just something I noticed. I tell you what, had I spent $300 on the cooler, I might have a different take on it, but for $175, I think once again, for me, it'll get the job done. The other thing, they have a drain plug here. I think that'll be handy. I don't know if you guys ever dealt with draining a cooler. I'm sure you have. Then this little drain plug for me will definitely come in handy. And then you have areas for tie downs here. Again, this is going to be in the back of my truck, so definitely got to figure a way to tie it down. There are what they're calling, I think they call it like the bare feet or claws here at the bottom. It's a rubbery texture, so that will definitely prevent it from sliding around if you're on a smooth surface, perhaps a boat or something like that, or even the floor. So I mean, is it perfect, beautiful little cooler? Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good, especially for the money. The truth of the matter is, it's going to get beat up, it's going to get used, it's going to get abused. As long as it does the job, then I think I'm going to be satisfied and happy with my purchase. I tell you, if maybe if I spent $300 on the cooler, then I might have a different take on it, but I'm still happy for the price point. It is an excellent buy if you're in the market for a premium cooler. Then I would definitely consider Rtic, especially if you can plan in advance and just really just understand that it's going to take about 60 days perhaps to get the cooler. The next video I'll do is to actually fill her up with ice. Being here in Central Texas over the weekend, our highs are going to be around 101, 102. I have a south facing backyard, and you got a lot of yard work to do. So I will fill her up, perhaps Friday, tomorrow, and then give it a try over the weekend and see how far we get with the ice. See you soon. Bye.